What's going on, guys? It's Halsey, and this is yet another episode of For the Record. I don't even know which episode it is, to be honest with you, because I feel like I've been doing this thing for so long, but also I haven't done an episode in a really long time, so I'm really excited to be back. Um, can you guys hear me okay? Everyone can hear me all fine? Okay, great. You might notice that I sound a little different this episode, and I'm going to tell you guys why. When we started the radio show or the AMP show, I really wanted to do it in like a super professional way because I'm an insane person and because I like to make everything super extra and the most. So we had like a whole crazy setup and, we had like faders and mixers and like this whole thing that was like fully produced. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an episode where I had John Cunningham on and everything was kind of a disaster. And I realized that this would just be so much easier if I just jumped on my own phone and just did it through the mic myself. So it might sound like we're on FaceTime instead of sounding like more produced and professional, but I kind of think it's better this way. And I think that I'm probably going to end up doing a lot more shows because of it, because it's so much easier and it's kind of the way that it's meant to be, which is just super authentic and on the fly and spontaneous, where I can just like hop on my phone instead of having to set up the whole thing or whatever. So here we are. I opened this episode with Shake the Disease by Depeche Mode because it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I went to the show 2 nights ago in LA, and it was really incredible. I knew I was like a really big Depeche Mode fan, but I think that I kind of underestimated like how big of a fan I am because I knew every single word to every single song, and I found myself like shrieking when they would play something that I really liked. I was like fully coming out of my skin. I haven't felt that way since I was like at a One Direction concert, like when I was a teenager. It was just really incredible. Um, and Martin, the front man, was unbelievable. It was like really, really inspiring to see how much energy and how much stamina he had. He was just like running around the stage, like throwing the mic around and like dancing. I was getting so much inspiration, so many ideas. I was like, whoa, I hope this is me in like 30 to 40 years. I hope I'm still getting to do this. Actually, with that being said, well, hold on. I'll tell you guys about that later. I'm sorry. I have ADHD. I want to talk more about Depeche Mode because I just love them so much, and I've just been like really, really listening to them. They've been like my comfort band like the past few months, honestly. It was just crazy to get the chance to see them live. And my front of house engineer, Jamie, actually does their front of house mix. So when I got there, I was like, oh my gosh, this show is loud. And then I was like, oh gosh, my show is really loud too. And I know that so many of you guys who've been in my live show have told me before that I have like one of the loudest shows that you've ever been to. And I kind of really love it that way. It's awesome. Anyway, so what I was saying about hoping that I get to do shows like that in 30 to 40 years, this is going to be a really chaotic show. I'm just warning you guys because I haven't planned out any of this and I'm just talking to you. And I'm in like fully like a very, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm in like a chaotic headspace right now. So this is going to be a chaotic show. It's going to be hectic. I talked to a psychic yesterday. Yesterday I talked to a psychic. I was like 2 days ago, yesterday, yeah. So I talked to a psychic, which is very normal of me. And one of the things that they told me during our session was that I am gonna probably see like the real. They said to me basically like, you haven't seen anything yet in terms of like your career and like your art and your professional work. Like you're really going to hit like your biggest peak in your early 40s. So I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. I was like obviously really excited to hear that, but I was also, the second they said it, I was like, I'm exhausted already. I'm already tired. What do you mean I'm going to be hitting my peak in my early 40s? That sounds so tiring. I was like tired the second they said it, like thinking about what that meant for me and like all the stuff that I had to do. But it was also really, it was very exciting to think about that I haven't seen the biggest parts of my art and my work and in my career. And I think one of the cool things about like manifestation and spirituality and like psychic gifts and stuff is that like in a sense that person telling me that is going to make it true because I believe it now. So whether it was divine intervention and it was something that was predicted and meant to be, um or it's just like something someone said that I'm now going to accept as fact and work towards, like either way hopefully it comes true. But it was very cool because it made me think about how I have a long road ahead of me. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in the beginning of my career I just kind of, because it's coming up on like 10 years, I was like just literally hitting the ground running, burning the candle at both ends, just being so terrified that everything was gonna disappear at any moment. Um, and now I get to be like a little bit more intentional, which is really exciting. Um, we'll talk more about that in a second. This next song is actually a cover. And I love the original so much, but there's something about this cover that's just like so badass to me. And this particular cover of this song was a massive success. Um, and it's actually been largely credited as like the start of like the cyberpunk movement, which led to like, things like The Matrix and um, sort of that counterculture, that genre, that aesthetic that I think so much of us love so much. So um, I hope you guys enjoy this version. This is a cover of New Order's Blue Monday by Orgy. I mean, it just hits, man. It's just like the original is so good, but that version is like has so much like grit in it. I love the original too, but something about that version makes me feel like I'm like, it's like Run Lola Run. Like I feel like a heroine in like a 90s movie. Or like not, maybe not a heroine, maybe a villain. I don't know. It's just like so cool. This is one of those songs that I would love to cover on tour sometime. And I think like eventually I would like to do a tour where every night I cover a different song. And like it would kind of, I think, be like a lot of songs like this. Like it would probably be this. I honestly probably would cover Shake the Disease, like the song I played right before this, or like maybe like Personal Jesus, like another Depeche Mode song. There's been so many songs that I've wanted to cover that I think would just be really cool live, like all different types. Like Maria's been begging me to cover Betty Davis Eyes. And so since she asked me to do that, I'm like singing it in the shower all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that would actually be pretty sick. Um, it's a lot of work though to ask the band to do because they have to do like a ton of rehearsals to be ready to play like a new song every night. But if we were in a place where everyone was like really excited about it, I feel like it's definitely something that we could do. Um, speaking of tours, I've been following Taylor's stadium tour, and it's incredible. It's obviously amazing. I expected nothing less from her. Um, I love every single costume. I love that she's doing new songs every night. She's like such a powerhouse, and she deserves all of this and more so much. I am, however, incredibly pissed off at her because she's doing a 3-hour show, and I'm like, Taylor, now my fans are going to want me to do a 3-hour show. I'm not built like that. Like, what kind of standard are you setting that I'm going to have to do a 3-hour show because Taylor's doing a 3-hour show? I'm like, come on, like, think about the rest of us out here. We're not all built like you. It's obviously incredible, but like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm doing a 2-hour show. That's amazing. My fans should be so happy. She's doing 3 hours. What is it, like 3 hours 15 minutes or something. Like, gosh, like, so crazy. I can't believe it. She must be training. I mean, honestly, she's been doing this for so long that she's just like so calm and in control. And it's like, it's probably like just like riding a bike, I guess. I don't know. It's amazing. Obviously, like, don't take that out of context. Someone's gonna pull a clip of me being like, I'm so pissed at Taylor Swift. I'm pissed because she's an icon and she's amazing. And I'm like, damn, now I need to live up to that, because obviously I look up to her so much in so many different ways. But watching it has definitely made me like, wow, I can't wait to get back on tour again. And like, I obviously have like a couple festivals and a couple shows happening this summer. Actually, you guys, the response to the NJ Pack shows, the string ensemble shows in New Jersey, I wasn't expecting that kind of a response. Everyone was really excited about it. And I think you guys know they're like experimenting with my set. Like I've done the jazz versions recently, and I've done some like stripped sets, and I like doing kind of like the full album underplays and that kind of thing. Like I really like experimenting with the sets. So I'm excited to do this like full string ensemble show. Also, you guys, I think, know like strings have always been like a really important part of my career creatively, like even with like Castle Huntsman and like the So Good orchestral. We've done tons of orchestral versions of songs, and I'm using strings on my albums all the time. And it's gonna be really cool to do that in like an organic environment. Anyway, since you guys were so responsive to it, I'm actually partnering with a company for Pride Month, and I'm going to announce a couple more string ensemble shows in a couple different cities in a couple other states. Like a few more, not like a ton more, not a whole tour. Don't get all excited. It's going to be like a few more. But spread out so that if you feel like traveling, you can maybe make it if there's not one right in your city or right in your state. Yeah, doing it a couple more times. It's going to be really awesome. Amongst other secrets and other surprises, I have another big words. I have another big acting announcement coming soon that I'm really excited for you guys to know about. I know that you guys are in this phase right now of like poking me with a stick, being like, come on, do something. But I am doing so much. Like I said, they're just projects that take a little bit longer and take like a little bit more time to get announced. And as I'm like exploring different mediums, also projects that I'm not fully in control of, like I am with like my records and stuff, I'm at the mercy of like a director or a production company, and like, I'm a part of like a bigger project. So I have to keep the secrets. I'm the one signing the NDAs now, not handing them out. But I really think you guys are going to be excited about this one, and maybe one or two others. Who knows? We'll see. Actually, speaking of acting, I told you guys I have ADHD. I realized in the pandemic that I have like actually like serious ADHD. And I think that I actually thought that I was just like a superhero. Like I was like, yeah, no, nothing's wrong with me. I'm just like, I can think of a million things at once, and I can handle like a million different projects at the same time. And like this is all like really great. And then it was like, no, psych, you have ADHD. It became so much more like prevalent for me when I became a mom, because it wasn't just like my own shit that was like wrapped up in ADHD. It was like my son's as well, and I was like, oh man, okay, I gotta get a handle on this. But a lot of people, I think, don't really talk about like executive function, which is like kind of one of the things that I've been dealing with a lot with ADHD, which is like my brain sometimes just will be like, no, even when I'm like explaining everything to my brain, like as simply as possible. Like my brain is like, no, like it's like the way I kind of explain it to my friends is like, I'll be like, I need to take a shower, right? Like I need to take a shower. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a call. What time is it? It's 10 a.m. I have to take a shower. Okay, well, I have a call at noon, and I have to eat breakfast. And Ender's gonna go down for a nap at 11, so that means that I need to. Should I eat before I shower? No, I should shower before I eat. But then we walk around the kitchen in like wet hair, and I have to figure out what I'm gonna be wearing for the day because I'm gonna want to put clean clothes on. I don't know if I want to beat it because the kitchen's like cold and I want to be in warm stuff. Do I have that shampoo and that conditioner that I've been wanting to get? I need to go to the store. I've been meaning to hit up a Target. Do I have clean towels? Maybe I shouldn't shower. No, that's gross. You have to shower. I could shower after the call and after his nap, but that's in the middle of the day. You can't shower in the middle of the day. And I will just do that in circles until I'm so exhausted that I just lay in my bed and I'm like, whew, that took the life out of me. I'm too tired to take a shower. And then I just do nothing for 2 hours and then the call shows up or whatever. And I'm like, great. I panicked about how I was going to use all that time. And as a result, I just wasted all of that time. So many of you guys are saying that you relate in the comments. It's so funny. It's like maybe that's why you guys like, maybe why we all like each other is because we're all going through that same thing. Someone's like, write an album about it. I'm like, yeah, I have ADHD. I wouldn't finish it. The album would never get done. Also, in its own way, Manic kind of is like a little bit of that album because it does have that kind of like, attention deficit, shift in perspective, I'm bored, I'm impassioned, I'm bored, I'm impassioned, I'm bored, I'm impassioned kind of quality to it that I think ADHD also has as well. But yeah, maybe one day I will make an album that just like abruptly changes songs in the middle of the song just to show what it's like living in an ADHD brain. I have it so bad that I forgot that I was just in the middle of a show and that I'm supposed to be doing stuff because I just started talking. It's hitting me big time today, guys. It's hitting me big time today. All right, I'm gonna get my thoughts together and I'm gonna get this show back on track. But in the meantime, this is one of my favorite songs for the past few days. I've just been rinsing it. It's an old one, but I really love it. This is "Whatever Happens, I Love You" by Morrissey. That was "Whatever Happens, I Love You" by Morrissey. It's such a good song. He's such a jerk. I feel like that's okay to say. I try not to say like mean things about people, but I feel like everybody knows Morrissey's kind of a jerk. I guess that's like kind of part of it, but I just love the Smiths and I love Morrissey and the music is had like a significant impact on like my songwriting. You know what I mean? Also, like I feel like you guys, nobody in here really stands Morrissey enough that you're gonna get mad at me for saying that. So I told you guys that song was playing that I was gonna get my shit together and figure out what the rest of the show is about. But actually what happened is I'm actually just sitting here eating a cup of noodles, which I know is going to probably make me sick, but I'm freezing because it's been so cold and rainy in LA the past couple weeks. And I just wanted something really hot, so I'm eating this microwave ramen. I'm actually literally eating it right now. I'm sure you can tell. It's getting cold because I keep waiting for those songs to eat it, but the songs aren't coming as fast because I just keep not shutting the fuck up in between them. I'm doing something really exciting tomorrow. I'm going and Ari Aster was kind enough to let me get a little advanced sneak peek of Beau is Afraid, which is his new film. And I'm really, really excited about it. I'm obviously like a huge Ari Aster fan. I've referenced Hereditary and Midsommar so many times in my work, and I think he's like just a visionary for kind of like the direction horror is going. I also have a feeling that this film borrows like a little bit of inspiration from like Michel Gondry, who I've also referenced really frequently. He obviously is responsible for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but also another film of his that I really love, which is, I can never say, this is like my mouth can never say this word correctly, but Schenectady, New York. Schenectady, whatever. It's like a really, really, it's a really cool film. And I think there's a little bit of like inspiration in there. So I'm really excited to see it. And I love Joaquin Phoenix as well. So I'm really excited for that. And I just feel so lucky, to be like a cinephile and like a fan of horror and a fan of people and to get to like have an opportunity like this where a director is like, hey, do you want to come see it and whatever. I actually met with Ari in New York a couple months before I started the album film because I kind of wanted to get his read on how he's making this like new version of horror, and also body horror, you know, being like a recurrent theme in some of it as well. So that's how it um, ended up, you know, his kind of POV kind of ended up helping me craft the Love and Power film, which that anniversary is coming up in a couple months. Would you guys want me to do like a re-release of the film in theaters? Would that be something that you guys are interested in? Because I know a lot of people couldn't go to it last time because of COVID restrictions. Um, but for the anniversary, I was thinking it would probably be pretty easy to get um, IMAX to re-show the film for a weekend, for anyone who didn't really get the chance. And maybe put some like I could maybe even put some extra stuff in there too, like some behind the scenes and some like other content that you didn't get to see, just to make it more special this time around. I was like, we have merch. You can always have merch. I always want to give you guys merch. I just feel bad, like, you know, that's a hard thing. Sometimes I'm like, I want to give you guys merch because I want you to have cool shit, but I also want you to be like, oh my god, they're always trying to sell us stuff. If you guys are going to spend money, I want it to be on like, you know, the music or the concert, and I want you to have like a meaningful experience, like something more than a t-shirt. But if you guys are asking for merch, oh yeah, you know, Garrett is grinding away on those designs all the time. He's the best. Um, but just got so far off track from where it was supposed to be. I Yeah, so Friday I'm gonna do that, and then I'm honestly probably just gonna hide out until Succession airs again because I'm just like so excited that there's a new season. Um, and I'm so sad that it's the last season. I don't know if any of you guys watch Succession, but it's so good. It's very, very good. I'm really disappointed I didn't get to be a part of it. I really wanted to be in an episode. I was literally like running around pitching myself, being like, I'll play like a drunk pop star at a party that's hitting on Kendall. Like I was like, I'll do anything. I just want to be on the show. I was like, I'll play like some weird girl. I actually said I was like, I'll play a weird date that cousin Greg brings to a party who like kills the vibe. And then like spoiler alert, but like something like that kind of happens with a much different girl than the kind that I was volunteering to play. But it was just so funny. I was like, damn it, I wish that was me. I wish that could have been me. Um, I love that show so much. I really do. It's like one of my favorite shows since The Sopranos. Like the way that they execute it is so good. And I'm so sad that it's ending. What else? I've also been watching Daisy Jones and the Six, obviously. I think I posted that on my story. I'm only a couple episodes in. But I read the book, so I kind of have a gist of what's going on. Oh, Severance also amazing. Love Severance. Um, oh, you know what? Also, we never got to talk about this, but I saw so many people talking about them using Bells in Santa Fe in You. Obviously, I've known about that for a while because I like um, had to clear the usage of the song. But I was so shook when I saw the scene because I knew that they were going to use the song, but they damn near used the whole song. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. It's like 3 minutes of this song. It was like so crazy. And obviously, as a fan of the show, as a fan of You, I really thought it was very cool. The connection between the lyric, "You won't even notice little bird," and then if you watch the show, then obviously you know Little Bird, the nickname. It like tied in like perfectly. Um, what else? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like legit. I barely have time to watch anything. It's a miracle that I even have all of these things to like list off that I've seen. I do have to watch The Last of Us. I have to get around to watching that. I haven't seen it yet, and I can't wait to dive in because it looks really, really sick. Looks very, very cool. And then, yeah, mostly I'm just sitting around thinking about all the TV shows that I want to watch that don't exist and being like, maybe I should just write them myself. I don't know. On top of my other 500 jobs and not being able to take a shower that I have going on right now. Just signing myself up for more stuff. It's like kind of hilarious. Ender got new cowboy boots. He loves them. That's most of the personal updates that I have. He's really into peacocks right now. Peacocks and garbage trucks. He's obsessed with garbage trucks. And he loves peacocks. And he says, when he sees them, he goes, peacock, 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 peacock. And it's the best thing ever. Yeah, he loves garbage trucks. He loves construction vehicles. He loves like John Deere vehicles and like leaf blowers and stuff. And I'm like, wow, it's really true that you just become whatever the opposite of your parents are. It's like if you're born to like really working class, like like manly blue collar like kind of people, then you're like bound to end up like super alternative and weird and like liberal and probably gay. And then like if you're born to like a queer person who's like an artist with like a house full of like artistic nudes and like practices witchcraft, then you're going to be like, I love John Deere trucks and cowboy boots. And that's pretty much how my kid ended up. It's literally hilarious. I'm just looking at him like, yeah, like you just know that you're going to be the opposite of whatever your parents are. But I love him. I love my little farmhand cowboy monster truck rally child, and I will support him in any of his dreams. And if he grows up and he wants to be a rodeo master, or he wants to be a contractor, or he wants to be what else is manly? Help me. I don't know. What's manly? I don't know. Like he wants to do that. I said contractor. I don't know. He wants to like he wants to be a professional bodybuilder or something. I'm gonna support the hell out of him and be like, yes, go off, little like man dude. I don't know. Like I'm just gonna be his like weird queer little mom like on the sidelines being like, I love you, honey. This is ridiculous. This is getting completely out of control. This is why I was maybe better off script, like having some structure for this thing. This is what happens when you just give me headphones and tell me to start talking. And now the music has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, and this whole thing is falling apart, and I'm having a complete meltdown. Just kidding. But I do want to play another song. And I just love this song so much. I think it's like an amazing pop song. It's one of my favorite like new wave records, and it always puts me in a good mood. Even though it's actually a really dark song, but it just makes me want to dance. Like I wish I had like a gin and tonic in my hand and I was wearing like a sparkly dress and I was just like gliding along a dance floor in like the like East End in London and just like doing my thing. I don't know. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's Pale Shelter. That was Pale Shelter by Tears for Fears, one of my favorite songs ever. You know what we don't do anymore that we used to do as a society is fade outs. All these songs that I've played, they fade out. The reason I think they used to do that is because DJs and clubs used to spin records on vinyl, and so they needed the songs to fade so that they could mix them into each other seamlessly. So if you wanted your song to be like a big hit that was getting played out, because like that's how music obviously like got popular, was like in the world, like in the streets, you know? You'd go to like a club and like going out and enjoying music was like where you would hear a song for the very first time. And you'd be like, what is that one song that DJ is always playing in the club? And then you have to go to a record store and dig through crates trying to find it. And like, you know, obviously there wasn't the luxury of like being able to Google a lyric or like find some stuff on Spotify or on Amazon Music or on, you know, whatever your playlisting like app of choices. There's something really cool about that to me, about having to like discover music in that way. Like if you really love this song, it is going to take you so long to go and find it and make it yours. I just think that's so interesting. So I was like, you're dating yourself. I wasn't alive and doing that during that time. This is falsified nostalgia. I am reminiscing in a period that I didn't exist for. I was just thinking that it's so funny that you just said that, because I was thinking while I was playing these songs, I was like, I feel like part of the reason that I have like old person energy is because I also listen to like a ton of really old music. Like, and so like even with these shows, like I'm playing stuff from like the 70s and the 80s most of the time, and I'm dating myself. Um but really, like, I had to discover all of this music on my own because my parents were really young, and they were also like really modern. So like they didn't listen to like a lot of the greats, like the iconic musicians. Like my friends, like when I was growing up, their parents were listening to like Fleetwood Mac, the Beatles, like the Rolling Stones, Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, even later stuff than that, like getting educated on like Cher and like Tears for Fears. And like, my parents were so young that like when I was growing up, they were listening to like Blink 182 and like Eminem. Um, my parents are still in their 40s, which is crazy because like I have a child. Um, so they were really young when I was growing up, and like a lot of my friends had older parents, and yeah, they were just putting me on to like I remember my mom and I bonding like big time over the debut Avril Lavigne album. Like that was the mom I had growing up, because she was like, yo, you gotta hear this, it's fire. And it's like Skater Boy, like, you know what I mean? Like that was my experience. So what ended up happening was that like as I got a little bit older, I had to go back and do a lot of that music discovery on my own. So I think I had like a real appreciation for it, because it wasn't like, oh, this is the music my parents were playing around the house. It was like I found it on my own and like really um fell in love to it, and like became really attached to it in that way. So yes, I guess I was just dating myself, but like I was dating myself as like as an 80s sympathizer, not as an old person. Um but oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm just reading the chat, so I'm getting so distracted, and you guys are so funny. Yeah, Shania Twain. My mom definitely listened to like Shania Twain for sure. Um and Alanis, obviously. My mom listened to The Cure. That was actually one of these bands that she put me on to. But no, like The Doors, I had to discover on my own. My mom was a huge Pink fan, put me onto Pink for sure. My mom was so much like Pink growing up. They were like really similar, which is why I think I'm so attached to her, because when I see her, Pink and Alanis Morissette are like the two versions of my mom. It's like long-haired my mom and short-haired my mom. They both like remind me of her so much that when I see either of them, I'm like, my brain doesn't understand that they're not my mother, and that they're like massive, incredible female rock icons, pop rock icons. Um, Dido. Dido was a big one. Dido and Jewel. If your parents listened to Dido and Jewel, then they've probably told you that if they've heard you playing my music around them before, because a lot of people will compare my voice to Dido's voice or to Jewel's voice, because it kind of has that like whistly, yodely component to it as well. Um, but yeah, Pat Benatar definitely. And my mom came and got to see me play with Alanis when I did the show at Hollywood Bowl a couple months ago, which was super sick. I keep thinking about what kind of music Ender's gonna listen to when he's older, right? Because like I think I've told you guys this before, and this hasn't changed. He's a loyal fan, but Ender's favorite musician is Harry Styles. He loves Harry Styles. He loves Harry's house. Like when I'm making him dinner and he's like in his high chair, like all I put on is like music for a sushi restaurant or As It Was, or he loves Daylight, he loves cinema. Yeah, he loves so many of those records. Which is kind of sick for me, because it means he's not gonna mess up my like end of year songs. with like Baby Shark. It's gonna mostly be Harry, which it probably would have been anyway if it were just if it was just me. So yeah, he's a cool kid. He's got taste. You know what I mean? Like he might be a future lumberjack, but he loves Harry Styles. So at least we're gonna agree on that. It's great. um, Also, I was probably listening. I think I was listening to a lot of Harry when I was pregnant, so I think he like remembers that because "Adore You" was like huge on the radio at the time, and I was always listening to that when I was pregnant. So he like remembers it in his womb days, I guess. Um, I do want to talk to you guys more about some stuff, but I don't have a ton of time left, so I want to get like one or two more songs in. And this has been like a really male heavy playlist, so I gotta show some love to the ladies really quick. This song is so beautiful. Um, I think that most of you know a lot of these songs, but I'm seeing some of you don't, which is really exciting for me if I'm getting to put you on to music that I love that hopefully becomes music that you love as well. Um, and I hope that this becomes a favorite record for some of you because it's a really poignant one for me. Uh, this is Jewel by Cranes. Wow, a lot of you guys really like that song. That's really exciting to me because I really love Cranes. And if you haven't heard of them until just now and you want to get into them a little bit more, I suggest checking out Everywhere, Beautiful Friend, Pale Blue Sky, Water Song, Lilies, what else? Paris and Rome, um, Clear. Yeah, those are all like really good songs by Cranes that I really like if you want to go do a little discovery after this. There's somebody listening in right now that I want to give a shout out to. And she's like a really longtime friend of mine. Her name is Ashley Lopez, and she's listening right now. I can tell because I saw her in the chat earlier. And I just wanted to give her a little shout out and tell her I love her because I'm so happy that she's listening, and I just wanted her to know that I know she's here, and I love her, and sending her all of my love. That I owe her a phone call for sure, and I'll make sure that I'll make sure that I get it her way as soon as we can. This has been so awesome doing it this way. I was actually kind of nervous that it wasn't going to work, but it's actually made me really relieved about doing it because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to like live up to the expectation of doing it as frequently for you guys. But doing it this way is so much more nonchalant. And if you guys are cool with it, then I'm cool with it. And I feel like I'll be able to do them way more frequently if we do them like this, where I'm just popping my headphones in and just getting to kind of talk. I also like as the months go on and like more and more projects come out, I'll have more to talk about. It's always so hard when I'm doing it this way because I'm like trying to not blow up a bunch of secrets. You know what I mean? So I'm like dancing around things that I want to talk about, and then pretty much like 23 hours of my day is like cool work shit I'm doing, and also being a mom. So what I've like left in my devices of being like, what can I talk to you guys about? I'm like, I'm eating a ramen and underground cowboy boots, and I have so much I want to tell you, but I can't because I can't tell you yet. But I'm doing another show next week, which is awesome because, I'm going to get to do them in closer succession. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about next week. There's so much going on. I want to talk to you about Coachella because I'm going to finally get to go see Frank Ocean again. I haven't seen him in a while. If you've listened to other shows, I'm a huge Alex G fan, and he's doing Coachella, so I'm going to get to go see his set. I'm also doing a festival with him and Depeche Mode in Spain and Portugal over the summer, and it's probably going to be like the best weekend of my life, honestly. We could talk about Easter. Andrew's going to go see the Easter Bunny on Monday, so I'm sure there's going to be a ton of hilarious stories to tell you about that because he's like obsessed with bunnies right now. So he's either going to love it or I'm going to go to mom jail because he's going to get terrified and he's going to hate it. So we'll see how it goes. But he's a very chill kid, really into like most things, and I feel like he's going to do really well. We're gonna go dunk on all those other babies that are scared of the Easter Bunny. Let's go. That's my boy. He loves mascots. It's me who's going to be having the problem, because if you guys are mega fans, then you know that one of my deepest fears is men in giant costumes. So I'm sucking it up for my kid. He's probably going to handle it better than I am. But thank you guys for hanging out with this episode and hanging around with me with this chaotic version. I told you it was going to be this way. I'm just having one of those days, man. But I'm glad you get to see this version of me, because I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about the ways that I interact with you, and the ways that your perception of me is either changing or not changing as I am changing. And I think that, like, when you get to like a certain like state or stage of the industry, like everything is so like clean and orchestrated and manicured all the time, and like I like to do this kind of stuff mostly because I just like to remind you guys that, like, I'm still just like a regular ass person, and I don't take myself too seriously, and I love you all, and this is how it be. So yeah, I feel so sad saying goodbye, but I'm gonna talk to you guys next week, so it's totally fine. We're gonna talk about all those things. I'm gonna leave you with another Depeche Mode song. This is another favorite of mine. They played it at the show, and I pretty much almost lost my voice because I was singing it so loud. But it's one of my favorites. Thank you guys for tuning into Halsey for the Record. I'll see you next week.